Have you heard the gossip on Hashgraph?
Welcome back to another weekly gossip in the world powered by Hashgraph. Let's go. Major updates from the ecosystem. A look at who will be there for Hedera18. Plus some other community updates. With all that said, let's get started. What is he talking about? And who am I? That's a secret you obviously know. You know you like me. Hashgraph, Hashgraph. Hello, Hashgraph community. Hello, new viewers. And hello to all of you joining us from all over the world. I'm the Gossip Guy, your trusted source for news and developments from the world powered by Hashgraph. And for this week's episode, we're going to take a look at the Hashgraph ecosystem. We'll also take a look at who will be attending Hedera18, specifically the sponsors of Hedera18. And lastly, we'll take a look at some community updates, starting with some communications made by Hedera, and also some meetups that have taken place around the world. But before we get started, be sure to leave a like if you find this video to be helpful and informative, as it helps my content get discovered on YouTube. All this said, let's get started. First, I wanted to cover some updates from the Hashgraph ecosystem. In case you missed it, there was a series of updates and developments focused around some of the new and existing projects within the ecosystem. This included the announcement of Taekion, a recently announced project in the ecosystem. Taekion is an AI and distributed ledger-based platform offering entry-to-endpoint cybersecurity (E2EC) protocol via an application funnel that eliminates threat vectors and reduces the attack surface of edge computing networks. The platform enables connected devices to disappear from public networks and safely transact with other devices and smart contracts. Basically, this is a cyber-secured fabric for interconnected things being built on top of the Hedera Hashgraph platform. The project is also being led by David A. Cohen, who's also an early advisor to Hedera and was involved with the IOTA Foundation. Let's welcome Taekion to the ecosystem, and hopefully I'm pronouncing the name correctly. Also, we heard some updates from Carbon, the price-stable cryptocurrency, which has recently announced the launch of their CarbonUSD stablecoin on the Ethereum blockchain. Now, you're probably wondering, weren't they supposed to launch on Hedera? Well, it looks like the team has shifted plans and are now pursuing interoperability of CarbonUSD on Ethereum and other blockchain protocols, with the plans to eventually deploy their algorithmic stablecoin protocol on Hedera Hashgraph. This announcement couldn't come more timely, as over the past few weeks, we've learned of other dollar-pegged stablecoins being launched by major players, Gemini and Paxos. Thus, it looks like in an effort to promote user adoption and launch a sustainable product, Carbon is first pursuing an Ethereum-based product and will also be making some tweaks to their overall operating model. Given Carbon's underlying smart contracts will be based on Solidity, the team can easily port these to the Hedera Hashgraph public network in the future, when eventually it's fully launched to the public and when further aspects of the platform are fully matured. Thus, I think this is a pretty smart move by our good friends at Carbon, and if you'd like further information on this, I've left links to their announcement and their updated white paper down below. Next, I wanted to highlight a presentation made by Greg Chu at a recent Hedera Hashgraph meetup in Dublin, Ireland, which I've also left links to down below. Greg is the founder of Quid Pro Quo, or QPQ for short, a project currently in the early stages of development and planning to launch on Hedera Hashgraph. What I liked about this presentation were the insights that Greg provided on the development of the DLT industry and its growing adoption by comparing it to the development of the internal combustion engine and ultimately the automobile. Certainly, we appreciate the thought leadership from QPQ. Lastly, Hedera also published some content that highlighted the ecosystem in a blog post titled 7 Industry Disrupting dApps Building on Hedera. Basically, this is a summary of 7 announced dApps within the ecosystem that highlighted who they are and why they decided to build on Hedera. This featured SageWise, Carbon, Hero.fm, Alto, Red Swan, CryptoTask, and Artbit. If you're interested, I've left the link to the blog post down below. Next, we take a look at the sponsors for Hedera18. As we get closer to Hedera18, I thought to take a look at who will be in attendance at the event, specifically those sponsors that have been announced. Starting first with Thomson Reuters, a global mass media and information firm, who also happens to have operations in Dallas, Texas, and has sponsored other Hashgraph events in the past. Allman, a blockchain-based ecosystem that aims to create an alternative goods market to better benefit consumers, the planet, and purpose-driven brands. Could this possibly be another DApp announcing within the ecosystem? Next, the University of Texas at Dallas, a local university in the area. Then there's Helix, which looks to be some sort of incubator from Hong Kong, created by the Mind Fund VC firm. The gossip is that this is potentially a Hashgraph-focused incubator. Next, there's Magnozola Lisa, apologies if I mispronounced that in Portuguese, which happens to be one of the largest retail companies in Brazil with a strong e-commerce presence. Then there's HashLabs, a technology development company focused on creating cryptographic secure solutions for governments, multinational corporations, financial institutions, and individuals. It looks like HashLab is planning to develop fintech solutions for clients on top of the Hedera Hashgraph platform. And lastly, we have our friends at Hero.fm, a recently announced project in the ecosystem building a music streaming app on Hedera Hashgraph. This looks like a pretty diverse group of sponsors with various international connections. It'll be interesting to hear if any of these sponsors have any further affiliations with the Hashgraph ecosystem or possibly launching dApps on Hedera Hashgraph for those that we haven't heard about yet. Thus, we look forward to meeting these sponsors and learning more at Hedera18. And lastly, I want to wrap up this episode with some community updates. This included Hedera's investor letter that recently went out. Much of the letter highlighted the accredited investor crowd sale and the launch of the mainnet that took place in August. However, I understood that there were some interesting updates included in this letter, such as the Hedera team has now reached over 50 plus full-time employees, and 120 dApps have expressed their interest to use the Hedera Hashgraph platform and are currently in the process of being onboarded. Certainly, this is some interesting news, and as a reminder, the Hedera Hashgraph team is providing all of their investor communications via the encrypted email service Virtru. Next up, there's been a whole host of meetup events taking place around the world, including a series of meetups being hosted by the developer advocacy team, which is great to see as more of the developer community is being engaged. Also, I can't forget the recent Meetup event in New York City that I also attended, which was great to meet many folks within the community. By the way, there was plenty of pizza this time, so take that, Reddit FUD. Lastly, I'll leave you with some gossip. It looks like Hedera is in the process of launching some sort of community-focused platform centered around curated educational and thought leadership content. So we'll be on the lookout for further developments related to this. So that's it for this episode. As always, it's great to see the Hashgraph ecosystem growing and the Hedera Hashgraph folks prioritizing the community. But before I let you go, I'm also excited to announce that we'll be hosting a live stream this coming Saturday, September 22nd at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 p.m. UTC, which will also feature DQN, a recently announced project within the Hashgraph ecosystem. Thus, make sure not to miss this. Also, as a reminder, be sure to join me and the rest of the Hashgraph community on the Gossip Group's Discord server, which we'll be using during the course of the live stream. So, with all this being said, if you find this video to be helpful, make sure to leave a like, and also consider subscribing if you haven't done so already, in order to stay posted on future news and developments coming from the world powered by Hashgraph. This is the Gossip Guy, signing out. Thanks for watching.